What goes into designing a successful logo?
Oh my gosh, our heart and soul.
Okay.
Everything we got for hours and hours and hours. You wouldn't believe the amount of work that's involved in a tiny little bird trying to get it to look, real and effective as a logo.
Okay.
At the same time. So,
Coach McDermott said one of the problems is probably what can you do with the Blue Jay? I mean, when you're going through the design process,
Sure.
does that kind of figure into the...
Yep, exactly. We start with the real anamorphic layout of the bird.
Okay.
That's where we try to start.
Okay.
And then we try to combine that with the features of Creighton athletes, right? Aggression and determination and energy. And so there's a few areas we can do that. We can put that look in the eye to try to add a little bit of that fierce determination. The Blue Jay happens to raise its tuft when it's aggressive, so that fit well. So we obviously have the tuft raised instead of peeled back.
Okay.
And things like that. The beak, we try to streamline where we can. Do what we can to make it look sharp as a logo, and also still look like a Blue Jay.
And then, obviously, the C is incorporated into whose idea was that?
That's just pure luck.
Okay.
Yeah, every logo we do, we always try things like that, see if there's a way that the two can go together. In this case, because of the sharpness of the beak in the front, we seem to have an area where in the opening in the front of the C that naturally fit, and it took a lot of work, but we think it goes well together. We think you see a C and not a G or an O, and that's the goal. And of course that's at the beginning of the brand too. It's hard. Once a few years go by and you've seen it, people start to recognize that. Synonymous with Creighton. You'll also see hats and things down the road with just the C, and that helps as well. In fact, it's the same C in the word mark of the word Creighton, so that everything goes together. That helps.
So originally, was it just the bird and no C, or was it a combination, or was it?
So when we get started, we know we're going to go with the bird head.
Okay.
We are still working on a bird body, a flying bird, and that has brought a number of challenges as well. And so we'll see if we can pull that off. But the word mark is very important, and especially going to the New Big East, where maybe some folks in New York, Washington D.C., those areas aren't as familiar with Creighton.
Right.
That's where the word mark of Creighton and stressing that became really important.
When you say word mark?
So the word mark, the lettering of the logo. The combination, each logo varies. Some logos are just a graphic, and then some logos will be a combination of a word mark and a logo. Okay. And in this case, they really like that one that's combined, the head with the word mark, for a complete logo. We call it a logo plus word mark, but that's what you name it.
So are you also designing Billy Blue Jay, or is that somebody else?
Somebody else, and they're doing a good job. We did give a little bit of feedback because they were doing their very best to try to match our design, which is a real challenge. It's hard to go three-dimensional with that kind of thing.
Right.
But it's fun, and it's looking pretty good.
Someone say you guys decided to donate whatever you were paid into a scholarship fund. If so, how did that decision come?
Well, we don't do many of these. This is just something we love. We try to do about one or two a year, and most universities are struggling with funding, always trying to move on with buildings and all that type of stuff. So we really, really like this, and we really enjoy doing it, and so we feel like that's something we can help a university with, and then we're happy to take that and donate it back as a scholarship.
How many different sketches do you think you've made of a Blue Jay head in the last few months?
Oh my gosh.
Thousands?
My brother's daughter, she tells everyone at school that he designs Blue Jays for a living. That's all he does. Because that's what we've been doing for a while. So yeah, it starts with probably around 50 sketches that we narrow down, and those vary and continue to vary as we go. So especially with the body, it's just angles and physics make it really complex. And so what looks good as an illustration, here's the biggest problem, what looks good as an illustration doesn't work as a logo. The hardest thing, the thing that I feel like we do best is find a way to make that illustration convert into a logo, which is usually simple rather than complex, much less shading, much less depth. That part's the real challenge, and that's what we aim for.
You guys are out of Denver, right?
Yes. Yep. Grew up in South Dakota.
Okay.
So grew up north of Nebraska and now live a little west.